back to Noise Avocation Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan, here with Jeremy as always. We have two very special guests here from Temple of Void, Alex, who has been on the show before with Hellmouth, and then we have Jason, who's new to the show. So thank you guys for jumping on and taking the time to do this. We appreciate it. Excited to get in and talk about the new record.
Yeah, congratulations, by the way. Sounds amazing. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
I can't wait for everybody else to hear it.
Same with us. Big time.
Yeah,
we're excited.
It's been, it's what, 2 years? That's 3 years now, actually, isn't it? Wasn't it Summoning the Slayer in 2023, or was it 24?
No, it was 22.
22.
Oh, damn, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those 4 years went by quick.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
So this is
Because
the
it felt
second...
like we started writing the record right after tour or something. I don't know. It just, it's crazy. 6. Yeah.
This is the second album out on Relapse, which again, congratulations on that. I mean, I was real happy for you guys when I seen you switch to Relapse. That label is just legendary in general. Everything they put out is usually always great. And for the store's point of view, like, dealing with them is always awesome. Like, their prices are great, their shipping is great, their customer service is great. So label for the music and label for the distribution side is always really, really good.
Yeah, the records come in poly sleeves. Bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got Capitol records that don't even come in poly sleeves.
Wow. Yeah, they're so amazing to work with, man. They're like on top of it, super supportive, very like they communicate well. It's great. Couldn't ask for a better relationship.
And they're genuine music fans.
Yeah.
You know? Everyone that you're dealing with, they're either in bands or they have other labels, or they're just super into music, So you're dealing with real deal fans. It never feels like you're treated as a quote unquote product or anything like that.
Right. Yeah.
We love that about them.
Yeah, that's gotta be like a huge bonus to work with.
Yeah.
Your own fans.
Yeah, like the communication is so good back and forth. You're not waiting for emails, you're not waiting for answers. It's pretty much on the spot.
Yeah, they're a team.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I feel like that's good to have in a label, because not only do you have that good balance of work relationship with them, but also, like, from what I can tell, like, they're not a label that's like, well, maybe you should try to do it this way, or you should change this to that. Like, they're giving full artistic freedom to where if you guys want to change your sound a little bit, you can. If you want to put out, this, that, or the other, you can. And I appreciate that, because there's been a lot of times where labels have gotten involved and ruined a record.
Yeah, that is, your observation is 100% validated by our experience. And that's part of the reason why we decided to go with Relapse, because we did our due diligence beforehand. We talked to other bands that had been on the label, and they kind of said everything that you just said. And that was part of the reason that we wanted to go with them, because they want to put out a Temple of Void record, period.
Right.
And they know what they're getting into. And we know there are other labels that aren't the same, and so Temple of Void would have had to fit into another preconceived idea, about what we should sound like or where we should go and blah, blah, blah. And we heard some kind of horror stories, and we just felt like, you know what? We're not the polished, play everything to a click track, round everything off, make it, super squeaky, cleany. Like, that's not our vibe. So if we want to put out something kind of raw, then we'll put out something raw,
Yeah, and it allows us to do whatever we're writing, and if we feel that should be on the record, that's what's going on the record.
Yeah.
You guys got final say no matter what, basically, on your own output, which is the number one, I would assume.
And another great thing is, we're not a touring band, so they're still giving us all this the support and being so good to us, and we don't tour.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah,
and
I don't see.
That's a really wild thing.
But I think it is a test to, like, you guys as musicians too. You know what I mean? Your shit's together. It sounds amazing. Nothing sounds.
Yeah, thank you.
And like in this new record, you kind of turned a little bit into another direction musically, and I, like Ryan said, we love it. But Yeah, Relapse gives you that freedom to not just pump out the same album every time.
Yeah. We couldn't do that as musicians anyways.
Oh no.
We couldn't even like, I mean, God, I couldn't even imagine writing like Lords of Death
again, like
again and again and again.
Yeah.
Even though that record is
it would be
amazing in my eyes for us.
Yeah, like we don't dislike anything that we've done. I think we've always held ourselves to a very high caliber and we love our output, but it's always that's who we are at that time.
Right.
You know. Right. And we're not going to go back a decade prior and try and redo something. That would just be inauthentic. So
and I like when bands do that because you get a lot of bands, and this is no disrespect to them. Like there's bands like we use like AC/DC, Amon Amarth, etc. for an example, where they sort of have like their blueprint and they run with it, and that's fine. That works for them. But as a listener who like sits and spends time front to back with each of these records, it's cool to see like where the progression from Of Terror and the Supernatural went to like Summon the Slayer. And then when you get to this record, you're like, oh wow, like this is a lot more, there's more rock influence in there. There's not, it's still very doomy. It's got like that signature Temple of Void sound to it. Vocally, musically, it's all there, but the guitars are tuned a little brighter, it seems like. It's not quite as like sludgy distortion as like some of the earlier stuff. And there's even like, there's been solos and stuff before, but I've noticed in this one, like it seemed like the solos were very front and center and like sort of a highlight on some of the songs where you were like, oh shit, like it's been year of the solos so far, because there's bands that have put out other albums that like the new Worm, there's a ton of awesome solos on there. And like to hear you guys doing that too. I've heard many other releases. I'm like 2026 people are kicking out guitar solos that are great. They're not an 11-minute like when the hell is this going to be over solo. They all fit very well.
Yeah, I only heard the title track, and then you guys sent the promo, and then it was like 2 minutes, about 2 minutes in the first track, there's a guitar solo, and I'm like, holy shit! Like it was like surprising, and it was like high. And
no,
then boom,
the opening track starts with a solo. It's a drum fill,
starts with a solo.
And then it's a solo. Yeah. It's like the first thing that you hear, and that
was so intentional.
Yeah, like this is different. You know, you've never heard us do this before. Digga go, wow, just go straight into a solo right up, kick off the album. So yeah, that was very intentional.
It definitely sets the tone for how, like, what you're getting into for the rest of the record. Because like I said, you guys always had that like death doomy sort of sound, but I like that you expanded on this one and sort of took other influences that you have and put them into the music.
Yes, all intentional.
Cool.
Yeah, this is definitely a head mover, you know, like.
Yeah, there's a lot of groove to it. So, I mean, Alex, obviously your guitar work on this, like, you keep growing as an artist, and you're not new to this. You've been doing this for a long time. But what was different about, for you at least, about writing the guitar for this record than some of the earlier stuff?
I want to make sure that the listeners know that I'm not responsible for all those wicked solos.
No, I know you're not solely, but you're the only one we have here to ask the question.
Yeah. Well, I definitely don't want I don't want to take credit for Mike's.
Alex could do 2 pick solos.
Yeah, I'm more like Misfits, you know, when it comes to. I'm like Doyle doing a solo. No, there was a big difference for me as a riff writer for this record in a couple ways. Number one, I tried some different tunings. So every single album we've done has been in drop C. So like on this one, we have some like just straight like C standard, you know, so just like a whole step. Oh no, or was it D? Yeah, D standard. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah. We did D standard and we did drop C. So just A writing in any kind of standard tuning for Temple of Void was different. And then I wrote more quote unquote weird time signature riffs that typically I don't write in such odd time signatures or switch up time signatures as much. And then the bigger thing I think than all of this was just my experience in a band called Love Interest, which is a side project that I did with Jeff and Justin from Hellmouth. And that was, we put out a 12-inch called Mother Wound, and that was me playing these guitars behind me. So the Jaguar and the Jazzmaster, and playing it out of a JC 120. So it was like all clean Smith's influence, like Johnny Marr influence guitar playing. It was a big like post-punk style band with clean vocals, and I was super passionate about the music that I was playing. But once I added that repertoire of like clean arpeggios, and that style of playing, now it just became part of how I write and how I play. So on all the other TOV records, I don't think I ever played clean guitar on them. Like I'm the guy writing the big beefy, like bolt thrower asphyx-esque, riffs, deicide style riffs, doing some melodic stuff too. But on this one, I was bringing a lot more, here's some clean arpeggio stuff to the table, much more Fields of the Nephilim, kind of style guitar. So that really influenced the direction that I went in from a riff writing perspective. So time signatures, tunings, and clean guitars were all different for me on this record.
Yeah, I love the clean guitars in it, man. Like, it just adds so much more to it, when you go back to the heavy.
Yeah. And like Don would do that when he was in the band for a couple records. If you ever heard clean guitar, that was typically like him. I was never really switching channels. I was always just like, playing the Mesa, doing the thing. But now it's part of who I am. It's part of my expression,
Yeah, now that you said Johnny Marr and the Jaguar, it makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it worked out well too.
I'm a huge Johnny Marr fan myself. I know Ryan is.
Jason, I guess I could ask you the same question, because even the drum work on this is different from what it usually is. I mean, you're putting fills around solos and stuff now. So how is it different for you?
I think it allowed me to play a little bit looser with the way that the riffs were presented and the song structure was. And not only that too, with Justin in the band, Justin is a groovy bass player, so he's throwing bass lines down that is just, they're fun to play around. So typically I'm not a big fill drummer in this band at all, because I don't feel that it leads to anything. I think the simpler that I approach it, the heavier that it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not taking away from anything, but there were certain points where like, man, this would be cool if this happened here, and that all leads to the way the songs were written and the bass playing for sure.
And Justin's a drummer, so as a drummer / bassist, he obviously has a different way of communicating and connecting with Jason that we've never had before.
Yeah, that's
like
huge
so
advantage.
They can really communicate rhythmically better than anyone.
Yeah, because he knows what, like on bass, what he's playing, keeping the time and the rhythm, how it's translating to the drummer, since he has experience with that.
Yeah, man, that's
awesome. we work really well together, man. I really do dig it a lot.
Yeah, that's a huge advantage. Fuck because
it changed the feel, man. Like we're just like playing, like when we were in the studio, I remember just recording some songs and being like, fuck, this is great. Even if like people hate this record, this is great.
You had fun making it. So
we had so much fun, man. Yeah,
dude, that'll come through, and I think people are gonna love it. Like, I think it's almost a more attractive sound, like, easier for people to digest over just the straight, like, more doomy shit that you have been known for previous. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
thank you.
Having the Smith stuff influence stuff in there, and like opening up with solos and crazy fills, and then just serving the song. I mean, it fucking works, man. And I like the lyrical content. Who's responsible for that stuff?
That's Mike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. Yeah, that's all him.
I really like the twin stranger idea of like being stalked by a doppelganger. I was like,
Yeah.
man, that's a fucking great idea.
I know. If you put that in perspective, man, I was like, God damn, could you
Yeah,
imagine?
just so
Yeah.
creepy.
Look around the corner, you're like, what the fuck?
Who's that handsome devil?
But
Yeah,
you,
exactly.
but
You
you
look
guys
good,
paint
bro,
that
but you're a
picture,
fucking
you know,
crazy.
it's cool. It's awesome. So
Yeah,
Anyway,
I
hats
love
off to
the
Mike.
way his vocal is like works so perfectly for the band. Like the way
Yeah.
it's like the perfect amount of guttural. I'm a huge Opeth fan, and I think Michael Ackerfeld has like one of the best guttural voices, along with like Dan Swano and like the guys that are all associated with all that. There, because it's so deep, it's so heavy, it's so raw, but you can almost understand everything like flawlessly, and that's like really hard to pull off well, especially
Yeah.
if you're doing it on a slowed down time, which like some of these songs are a little slower. It's hard to make that translate to where like that. I'm not a singer, so I can only imagine like just to hold that it's got to be tricky.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely jump in and say Michael Ackerfeld's my favorite death metal vocalist of all time too, and I feel like Mike is really, like, for me, like really up there in that pantheon of like, if I could have anyone sing for my band right now, I don't know how we could ever replace Mike. You know,
Yeah, if you
with
got a
current
different singer, I don't
vocalists.
know
You know?
how it would work. Like his
It would be a
voice
different band.
sits,
Yeah.
it fits so flawlessly with everything.
Yeah.
But speaking of Michael Ackerfeld, so you guys had a new cover artist for this, because I went back and I checked on all of these, and I don't believe he did any of these covers. This guy, he's worked with Opeth, if I'm not mistaken. He did like the Heritage
All of them.
cover. He did every single cover.
I'm pretty maybe he didn't do everyone, but once he started,
he did a lot of them.
He did
stayed.
all of them
I think,
afterwards.
yeah, I think once he got in, I don't know if it was like Still Life might have been his first one.
Okay.
Don't quote me. And then once he was in, that was it. He was like their guy.
And Still Life is my favorite Opeth record, but that's a conversation for
That's
or
awesome.
another conversation. But so how did you guys link up with him? Because that's huge to have somebody that worked on cover art for. I mean, he did Sound of Perseverance for Death. He's worked with
Yeah.
Opeth. He's worked with Bloodbath. He's worked like all these other bands. How did you guys get us linked up to where he was making your new cover?
And Catatonia, and he even did a Slayer cover, but they didn't end up going with his, like, I don't know, at the last minute they changed it. That was it like I forget the name. World Painted Red or something.
Wasn't it World Painted Blood was the name of
Blood? Yeah,
That sounds
yeah.
right.
It was something like. Anyhow, they didn't. He did that cover and then they changed it, and they didn't go with his version. But yeah, so needless to say, he's done some pretty sizable, bands. We were having a conversation with Relapse, and we had some guys, in the short list, and they said, check out Travis Smith. And we did, and we're like, oh shit, yeah, because he has such a diverse style. And if you look at his, if you go to his website and kind of see all of his pieces, they don't all look the same, like by any stretch. And there's some that we really gravitated towards, and then some that I was like, no, that's not really for me. But I appreciated that he had a diverse sort of palette and he could apply himself. And I, at the time, was interested in doing something a bit more surreal and something like leaning into more of like the later death styles, like kind of symbolic, and like that kind of cover. It didn't end up going in that same kind of abstract way that I was thinking it would. But the fact that he worked on Sound of Perseverance and I was already in the mindset of like later death era, it's like, all right, let's get the guy who did later death era, album art. And he was awesome to work with. So
that's
so
pretty
thanks to
cool,
Relapse
man.
actually for coming up with the idea.
It's awesome.
Yeah, because you guys, I mean, every cover that you've had was always been awesome. Like my personal favorite record is the first record, and I think that's just because that was the first one that I heard, and it like that's what gravitated me towards the band. But every single cover, even this new one, is just they're all awesome. Did you already have? You said you had sort of a later death sort of concept in mind, but the cover that came out for the crawl, was that you just gave him like, you're like, okay, just run with it and we'll see what you got, or did you kind of already have some little ideas to pitch to him?
So we put together a brief, and we wanted to make sure that there was continuity. Sorry if you hear my dog barking. We wanted to make sure there was continuity between the storyline, essentially, that pretty much started with the world that was, and you see, like, you know, the guys on the boat going into the cave or the mountain, and then on summoning the Slayer, you see the boat and the same guys, and they're inside, you know, the mountain. And then on this one, now there's four guys, four little figures on the cover, instead of five. And so obviously, like, these are representing like the band, you know, kind of going through journeys and trials and tribulations and whatnot. And so we wanted that level of continuity. And we also wanted it to be a reflection of the sort of mythos, you know, and like the guy who's on the cover of the first album,
Mm-hmm.
there are hooded figures on the, you know, on the new album that essentially are harkening back to those sort of like robed figures. But we played with perspective a lot, and so there's like small guys and then these giant guys on the front. So it's surreal in that way, where sort of time and space don't exactly like match up, I would say. um, and the general idea was we're on a dungeon crawl, and it's all about choices. So the main thing was showing paths, like the diversion of paths, and having choices between, do I go down this road or do I go down this road? So looking at the album cover, there's a lot of like split, you know, paths, and there's different doors to open. So, and then you see all these kind of people following people going over bridges, you know, bridge over water. Like, so it's all these kind of layered metaphors around choices and journeys. And that was the brief. And then we worked with him, and he would put together sketches, and we'd go through multiple revisions. And because this one and the last one were digital um, paintings, then it makes it easy, because then if you want to switch things around, you know,
Yeah,
it's easier.
you got
Like with,
layers you can change.
yeah, like album 2 and 3, those were I think both oil.
Yeah, when you read the liner notes, they both say oil painting.
Okay, so yeah, then they're both oil. So like, you get the sketch, and then you approve the sketch, and then it's done at that point. You know, it's kind of nice also working in the digital space, that you can be like, oh no, change this, change that, change the color. You know, like, yeah. So it's a different way of working. I don't think one's better than the other. They're just different.
Yeah, no, I like that they're like that. The hooded figures are sort of a nod back to the beginning.
Yeah.
That the band is kind of involved within the artwork concept, but that I guess I didn't notice it without you saying it, but like looking at them, you can kind of see how they're all sort of associated into like the same journey. And Hellmouth had that too.
Yeah, that's
with
what I was
like
thinking.
the
The
three records that
continuity
are
of that was like,
yeah, the city that was in the background
Yeah.
and stuff. That like
Yeah.
that's what I just thought of when you were telling that story. I was like, oh,
Me too.
this happened before.
Yeah.
But I liked the idea of the time and the paths, and then I mentioned the Doppelganger song, and
Yeah.
that really makes me think of Twin Peaks, which I just recently
Mm-hmm.
like watched, and then it just passed like the anniversary, so it's just kind of a funny little coincidence there, maybe.
And it's kind of like, I think Mike's also said, a bit of a throwback to the song The Gift, where you get, because The Gift is about receiving like this skull in the mail, and it's your own skull. So part of what he was doing lyrically was also looking backwards. And that's not like negative to look backwards. It was like, from an artwork, from a lyrical perspective, from everything, we're kind of looking back, and almost wanted to make this new one somehow like a greatest hits in a certain way, or certainly self-referential to a degree, while also always moving the needle forward in different directions.
Yeah, very
So
cool.
lyrically, he went back to some sort of classic storytelling, like horror storytelling, but then around the world that was, he started to get much more introspective and sort of personal. And so this one has that mixture of some that's like classic horror storytelling, and some of it, it's more existential and introspective too. So it's a good, you know, if you get into this, it kind of tells the story of everything that's happened beforehand to a degree.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I like that shit. It's a lot of depth, you know.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you guys are sort of going on a dungeon crawl earlier. Is that how you got the name for the record, is the crawl?
Yeah, I mean, Mike came up with the name The Crawl, and we thought it was a cool. I mean, first, like, just the name just has to grab you, you know, and it just has to sound cool or whatever. And so when he came up with The Crawl, we started riffing on the idea of a dungeon crawl, and then that just being a metaphor for life and for being in a band. And then it all started to fall into place from there, because it's like on a dungeon crawl, like, you meet people along the way, you fight monsters, people join your party, people leave your party, you know, like, you have to make a lot of choices, you find treasure, you know, you run into booby traps, you know, all these different things. And it's pretty easy, I think, to make a translation or a metaphor from all those experiences into being in a band or being in real life, you know.
Right.
So, but it's a lot cooler to sing about Dungeons and Dragons and more interesting than just to. It's like a good wrapper, you know, for it to put around a story, you know.
I've been playing through Baldur's Gate 3 again, so you saying all of this, like, it all fits. Outside of the cover art, and we got into it a little bit earlier, but I want to talk about this, like, when you guys, did you use a local studio again, or now that you're working through Relapse, is sort of where you're going change? Because I think the old studio, was it Doom Studios or
Doom.
something like that?
Mount Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that where you're still using currently? I wasn't sure if that was like your own, just your name for your own studio, or how that worked.
No, that's a friend of our studio. He records pretty much all the local Detroit bands. Yeah, it's a great spot.
Where's it
Jason,
located?
you want to tell them about the new record, where we went and what we did?
Oh, well, we went with Kurt Ballou and from
Holy
Converge.
shit.
God City.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God City. Yeah,
Walls of Jericho just came back from there too, I think.
it was really amazing. We spent, what, 10 days, Alex?
No, a week, just a week.
Oh, a week, yeah. So,
I mean, like a week in the studio. I mean, a day to get there and a day to leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, a week in the studio.
No, we stayed above the studio, went down and recorded. It was a phenomenal experience. Kurt was amazing to work with, and so was Zach, his assistant producer. I don't know, man.
Awesome.
He brought out everything, and but you felt like so much power being in that studio. Really and truly. What do you think, Alex?
It was a reaction against the last record, and I don't mean that negatively. It's like a response to the last record. So we went with Arthur Risk in Philadelphia for the last one, and we have like a thick, I think the most well polished sounding record that we'd ever done.
With Arthur.
Yeah, with Arthur, and we didn't want to repeat, like we were talking earlier about kind of not repeating the past. We don't want to do, all right, let's just go to like, we change the artist up every time. As far as I'm concerned, I would like to change, like, given the ability and budget, I'd like to change the producer most times. We didn't have Relapse's budget on the first three, so we weren't gonna go fly to the East Coast and record with, you know, a big name producer like Arthur Risk or Kurt Ballou. But with a little bit of money from Relapse, we're able to, hey, let's make this an adventure and let's go record with Arthur and see what it's like collaborating with other people. So we did that on the last record. And then for this one, it's like, all right, let's do something different. Who else do we think does really good records? Well, Kurt Ballou's, you know, been our shortlist from the get-go. And so I think because the record was a bit more rockin', and we talked a little bit earlier about, you know, clean guitars and stuff, I thought that it would make sense, like personally from a guitar perspective, to go with someone who did a more of a raw production to offset some of the more rocky stuff or clean stuff. Like if we leaned into that too hard, I think from a production perspective, I wouldn't want it to sound too slick, you know?
Right.
So
Yeah.
it was almost like a counterpoint. Like, let's do something really raw and in your face, and it'll balance maybe some of the cleaner stuff out, you know? And I don't know, maybe the next record it will swing another way, like we'll see. But the point was, we don't want it to be like a carbon copy of what we've done before. So, fresh producer for us, new studio, different approach.
Big
And
drums.
yeah, we had a good time.
Mission accomplished, man, from what I hear.
Yeah.
That's actually a good point that you bring up, though, with since there is a more clean aspect, it's wise to try to sort of add a layer of grit to it, I guess, so it doesn't, because it does sound different. But like I said earlier, you can still hear a lot of the Temple of Void, like, I don't want to say blueprint, but foundation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can hear a lot of
Atmosphere.
everything, the atmosphere, the sound, everything's still there. It's
Yeah.
just that growth is there as well. But for you to add that little bit of grit to it was wise, because it is a really good sounding record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of that growth that you talk about, I mean, certainly comes from having Mike do his first record on guitar. Because in all the prior records, he would always do an instrumental, or just like he had one song that he would contribute, and that would be his guitar work. And now we didn't do that this time around because he's on every song. So it's like it brought a different writing dynamic, and that makes a big change.
Kurt Ballou was on your short list of producers. Do you have any other producers that are sort of like a wish list for you to work with potentially in the future?
Well, we were gonna go ahead,
No,
Jason.
go ahead. We were gonna go with, but he passed away.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Albini, I think, would have been on the short list. We talked to this guy, Fig, who had recorded and produced Alice in Chains before, like the last couple of records. The Devil Put Dinosaurs Here, and the other one, what Black Gives Way to Blue.
Yeah, Black Gives Way to Blue.
Oh yeah, the newer ones after the new singer. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's I don't know if he was like an associate producer. I can't remember, but he engineered, produced, whatever, like those records, and they sound incredible. And so we were in negotiations to work with him, but ultimately he wanted like points on the record, and it was just too much. It's like, no, we're like, we pay you money, you give us the record. Like we're not getting into royalty shares and all this kind of stuff. Like that's beyond the kind of band,
and we might sell 100 records. So
yeah, like,
how many points you're gonna get?
You're not gonna get anything, and then it would have to come out of our budget. It wasn't like Relapse was gonna give Fig, the producer, like a cut from theirs, and so it just ended up being too much of a hassle. But we love how those Alice in Chains. We love Alice in Chains.
Yep.
B, we love how those records sound. I think they sound incredible. And I would have loved to have went to Hollywood and recorded with a guy who, records Alice in Chains. I think he would have done us, certainly would have done us justice. So that's no to him. I guess who's left? No one really jumps out at me. Not that there aren't producers that I would like to work, or records that sound good, but I can't think of a name, of like another guy that's kicking around right now that I really want to. We were interested in the guy who did some West Coast bands. I don't know if he recorded Vastum. I don't know. There's a guy who does some really good death metal stuff out of the West Coast. Brad Wilkinson, maybe.
I'm sure I know stuff he's done, but sometimes you don't know a producer's name until you see him on a liner
I want to look it up to see if that's his, or if I'm like butchering his.
His real name's Jeff. It's not even Brad.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't know. It could be. Anyhow, so clearly, no, there's no one that's jumping out.
To answer the question
as another big one.
Yeah, I think the Kurt Ballou thing worked out very well, because I mean, I'm sure the dude who did Alice in Chains, like, obviously he knows what he's doing. But sometimes, and I'm not speaking on the guy's behalf, but like Kurt Ballou's sort of engulfed in this area of music to a certain extent where that guy may not be quite as much. So you could have had a totally different sound come out of the record that you may have not liked.
Yeah, Kurt was the best choice for this record.
For sure.
Drum wise, my God, man, I felt like when we got done doing drums, or they were like just cannons, man. Like the raw drum sound. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
And that
I
room.
love that new Converge album too that they did.
Oh,
The drum sounds
yeah.
so fucking huge on that. It's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not like he's a stranger to
You
recording
know,
good drums.
exactly. It's like definitely good choice.
Oh,
So do
the
you-
guy, Earhammer Studios.
Earhammer?
That Earhammer. That's the name of the
Okay.
Greg Wilkinson.
Craig
Okay.
Wilkinson.
I've got it.
Not Brad.
Yeah.
That was close.
not
you had
Brad.
the last name. You were
I
halfway
had the harder
there.
part right,
Yeah.
the Wilkinson part. So yeah, Greg Wilkinson from Earhammer. He's someone who does, like, if we wanted to record like a Lords of Death style record, I think he does a really good job at that type of, that type of music. I don't know if I've heard enough of his repertoire to know how he handles like cleaner, more melodic stuff. I'd have to see, but if he has stuff that shows like he does good, clean guitars and he does good melodic stuff, then I would put Greg Wilkinson as someone that I'd like to record with, because he has good, chunky, big, fat guitar tones,
Yeah.
which as a guitarist, I'm partial
I would
to.
say even somebody like, and this is like an elite level producer, but somebody like Steven Wilson, who's worked with Opeth, like that guy would,
Yeah.
he would know how to bring out that contrast between clean and heavy very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But he's like one of the like top like sound engineers and like one of like a handful of people putting out like Atmos mixes and stuff right now. So I imagine he comes
He might want
no
a few
short.
points.
Not even points, but like I imagine the price tag that comes with that,
for sure.
and the waiting list. You'd probably be like, I'm booked to 2028. Like, so if you guys want to put out this record, you might want to talk to somebody else.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex, did we have like a year to wait with Kurt? Or was that by our own doing? I don't remember.
No. I mean, I think we got in when we wanted to get in.
Oh,
It
okay.
was
All right. Yeah.
After we got done, we didn't book the mixing, and that's what took forever.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. But no, I mean, we knew in advance we were going to take a year to write the record, so we booked them when we knew. And it's good to have a deadline and know that, like, yep, you got to get it done in this time, and it worked out. It normally takes us a year because we practice once a week. We all have jobs and careers and lives outside of Temple of Void, obviously. So it's not like we're getting together for 40 hours a week, just,
Right.
cramming a writing session. It's not happening like that. So
No, but having that dedication to get together like once a week, even if it is only once a week, like it's still. Some people are like, oh, we practice like once a month if our bassist shows up or something. Like it's always all over the map. So to have that discipline to where you guys are actually like getting on, practicing, writing, setting yourself a deadline, speaks for the band.
Yeah, we wouldn't do this band if somebody flaked out every now and then, not showing or not respecting everybody else's time.
Right. Because you guys
that's
don't want
not
to be
happening.
sitting around waiting. Like, all right,
Yeah.
well, we're short a guitar player or something. Like, we can't. How are we supposed to practice?
Yeah, that doesn't fly, man.
So earlier we talked about before we started, like you guys don't tour. Is that just due to time constraint, or is that a personal preference? Or, I mean, I know you've done some shows.
No touring.
I know you've done
We
some
don't have
shows
no
and
touring
local
like
stuff, but
Policy.
agenda. Like
no, I didn't mean it as like an agenda, but you guys,
yeah.
You're at the level where you could be out doing like a nationwide tour, but I know time is always a factor, families, jobs, etc.
Like our last tour was in Europe in 2022. We did 14 dates in Europe, and that was a lifelong ambition for all of us.
All of us.
So that was an incredible experience, and I'd love to do something like that again. For the US, we've all toured the US, kind of multiple times, or I've certainly toured coast to coast, north to south, as much as I kind of care to, and when you're like 19, you can get in a van and you can drive 11,000 miles and like go all around the US. And not give a crap. But when you're in your 40s or 50s, you have kids, career, it's a different perspective. And I really don't, personally, I don't want to be on the road, sleeping on a highway, underpass, like I was when I was 19, or sleeping on the roof of a van, like I was as a teenager. I want to be more comfortable. I want to spend time with my family and my kids. So if I'm going to be away, there has to be a damn good reason for it.
Yeah.
So going to Europe for 2 weeks, that was a damn good reason. Like it was awesome for us. We've been offered big national tours, and we can't get the time off work. All of us, we don't want to leave, our families for that amount of time. And Mike in particular, he's a school teacher, so he has the summers open. And then outside of that, it's like spring break or like winter break. Like those are his times. He can't just take off for 2 weeks in the middle of the school year. Like,
yeah,
that's not how teachers roll, so.
Man, teachers and bands, we need to make a checklist, dude.
I know, we've met so many teachers
That's
and
like
bands.
a band.
Oh, really?
It's like a very common
like
occupation.
we interviewed Mike Score from All Out War like a while back. Like he's a teacher. Who was another like bigger one that we talked to that was a teacher? I can't remember. It was shortly like right after Mike, but it seems like teachers, tattoo artists, obviously, and barbers are like a big, like the big three of like band/job occupations.
Yeah.
It seems like
allowing the most freedom.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, the teacher thing, like, because you get the summer off, so I could see how you're like, okay, like I could tour in the summer. I can't tour during school year. Yeah, I always thought it would be cool to have, because our teacher, where we're at, like our teachers were like old fogies that were like just very uptight. And I've always thought it was cool to be like, well, imagine going into class and you got Mike Score there, or you got like fucking Greg from Bad Religion or something, or like.
But in your town, they're the old hags.
I know.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I just could I have to wonder if like Mike ever like addresses class in Temple of Void voice, like when he needs to like get the attention of the class or something.
Yeah, right.
So the interesting thing about Mike is, so he teaches autistic kids, and my other band, like when I'm doing Hellmouth or Love Interest or this new band that I have going on with Jeff Uberti, he is also a teacher who teaches autistic kids. So you talking about teachers, it's like, yeah, I'm in, all my bands have teachers and they all teach autistic kids.
Shout out to those dudes.
That's awesome, though. Jason, well, we know Alex's side projects. Are you in any side projects outside of Temple?
I am. Yeah, I play in this band. I actually didn't even know I had this shirt on, and that's the God's Honest Truth. But it's called Sabretooth Gary.
Oh yeah, weren't they?
Yeah, I know that name.
Black Christmas. You were supposed to be on the one that got canceled.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Todd Evans from Gwar, he and Lazy American Workers and what other band? He's in that band with me and another guy named Tony. It's just like a straight up like late 80s, early 90s punk thing.
Yeah, I remember just listening to it because we did
fun. Yeah.
We did promo videos for that show. And I remember we checked out every band that was on the bill because we were doing quick like 1 to 2 minute clips for like asking each band questions. And I can't remember. I think we reached out to Sabretooth Gary, but like we couldn't get anybody to line up a time or something. But when I seen your shirt earlier, and I was like, where the hell do I know that name from?
Yeah. It's like a recognition name.
It's fun stuff, man. Check it out. We put a record out, but it's a lot of fun. We're still doing it, playing a lot of gigs down here.
Right on.
Yeah, man, it's fun.
That's a big change from Temple of Void.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you got a lot of, I guess drums would be a little more straightforward and simple there for just like the old 80s, 90s punk beats. It's not like how this stuff is.
Dude, it's 100 miles an hour, like from front to back.
That's
I feel like sometimes, man. It's fun though. I totally dig it.
That's cool to have that that change in music.
Yeah.
Alex, you mentioned one other newer band that you're in now, because you have Hellmouth, Love Interest. What's the other band? I don't remember if I caught that
so
name.
Love Interest, our vocalist left, so we only ended up putting out that one EP.
Okay.
So that's defunct. It did also have Eric from Temple of Void, the original guitarist. So it was like 3 members of Hellmouth, like me, Jeff, and Justin, and then also 3 members of Temple of Void, me, Justin, and Eric.
Wow.
So we were all kind of getting together to really indulge ourselves in that post-punk stuff. But I'd love to resurrect it if we could find a vocalist who can really sing, because when you're playing stuff that's like influenced by Tears for Fears or U2, or Susie and the Banshees, it's not for someone to yell over.
Right.
Like you need a real
Yeah, you
singer,
need somebody to sing for sure.
like someone who can really, really sing. So we haven't yet found someone to do that. So I would say that, I mean, it's defunct at the moment, but I'd love to resurrect it. And then Hellmouth, we've never broken up. We played some anniversary, I wouldn't call them reunion shows because we never broke up. We played a couple shows, whatever, a year ago or so, 2 years ago, I don't remember. So Hellmouth is always there, like in the background. We're all friends, so it's like if we decide to do something, we'll do something. So Temple of Void is obviously like my main thing, but I recently started something with Justin and Jeff again. And that's the 3 of us, we work together so well. We love each other. We have such a long relationship, working with each other, that we kind of stick together. So we're doing something new. It doesn't have a name yet. And we have Andy Demps from Earth Mover and Blood Pact and Ruination on guitar. So, and we're practicing at Jason's house. So we're keeping it like all like in the family. But
I got a great practice space, man.
Yeah. Our plan is to record something. We have studio time booked in April, and we're going to use that to record and then find a vocalist. Like we want to record first and then kind of send that out to some people we know to have them demo.
Okay.
Because the vocals are
Curious
gonna
to hear it, man.
It's fast.
It's fast, heavy, pissed off.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a reaction to the times that we're in, from a political perspective. We wanted something that was to channel our anger, at the situation that we're in with the current administration. So we need to find a vocalist who can be that mouthpiece for us. And we'll see like who that might be. But definitely short, fast, angry, heavy songs. But the fact that I'm writing with Andy, this is my first time in the band. I've known Andy for longer than I've known any of these guys, period. But I've never been in a band with him. And then Justin and Jeff have never been in a band with him. So that was part of the thinking, was like, let's bring someone new in, sort of new and old at the same time, because it's a different dynamic, and he brings something to the table that is different than what we do. If we just did it, me, Jeff, and Justin, it would just be like Hellmouth Part 2.
Right.
And we're not trying to do like Hellmouth Part 2. It's still in that for fans of, because it's like short, fast, angry political songs. But I so far the way it's shaping up, I don't think it sounds like a Hellmouth Part 2. And yeah, certainly with Andy and then whoever does vocals, it'll be something cool.
I mean, Hellmouth Part 2 wouldn't be the worst thing ever.
Right, I agree.
I love Hellmouth, but I totally understand what you're saying. Like you don't.
Like you don't have 3 of us with like a similar vocalist who sounds like Jay.
Right.
You're like, that's not going to
exactly.
get us anywhere. Like it needs to be different enough where it stands on its own thing.
Yeah, and I think it's cool how you guys do all these different projects, and then when you come to do a Temple of Void, it's like it's not boring to you as a writer or as a player.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's got to be like make it refreshing for every different style you're playing. Because it just gets bored like
totally
just chugging all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right, man. And like 9-minute songs.
Yeah.
Versus like a minute.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's cool, man. I'm interested to hear it.
Yeah, I look forward to that. Definitely we'll be on the lookout for that.
Shout out to the Sabretooth Gary AI Against I title. I like that title.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. Yeah.
So
yeah,
cool.
dude, thanks
I'll
for
check
checking
that
it out.
We'll jam that when we get done.
I remember. I
hell yeah.
remember the band. I put it on. It's probably on my like on my phone still. But yeah, we'll definitely check that out.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And I remember when we talked to you, Alex, with Hellmouth. I do remember Love Interest because I remember writing it down when we were talking about it. But just a couple things before we start to wrap things up here. I guess one, we're really excited for the record release. I'm sure you guys are. It comes out this Friday, March 6th. So everybody listening, pick up the record at your local store, order it from Relapse. If you guys have Bandcamp or anything, let me know, and I will plug that all in the episode description and put that in there. Before we get to like the end of the question we usually ask people, I guess for the band, moving forward, do you guys have any goals that or plans other than just you want to get the record out there? But moving forward past that, are you already kind of, you said earlier you were like, we started writing this record right after the other one. Do you already have plans to start to kind of write another record, or are you just kind of gonna let this one resonate for a while?
I mean, we haven't openly discussed it yet because the record's not even out yet. You know, it comes out Friday. I would expect that we're not going to write anything in 2026.
Oh no, I wasn't asking like, is it going to come out this year? I just meant
no, I know, but
like
I mean, I don't think we're even going to start writing anything in 2026. Okay. But there's definitely like enthusiasm for like, where do we take this? Like, what's the next step? What's the next progression and evolution?
Yeah, that's
what
I'm looking for.
Picking up some of these guitars over my shoulder, some of the non Les Pauls, you know, picking up the Jag and the Jazzmaster and playing in completely different tunings too. That started to get me excited about. Like, I think Mike, to a degree, kicked the door open with the rock element, like the sort of 70s rock element that he brought to the table. And then the confidence, honestly, like to just take that next big leap on the next record. So that's what I'm curious to see, like, how far can we go, you know, and still maintain what makes Temple of Void.
Right.
I don't want to get into such a transformation that it's
no
longer, you know.
Yeah, you don't
like, we're never going to replace the death vocals with like clean vocals, you know, and like that's not who we are. But I do want to see how far can we push. For me as a guitarist, how far can I push my evolution as a guitarist and still make it heavy and Temple of Void without playing in drop C all the time? Like, what other paints can I paint with? You know, what other paints can I put in my palette that just open up new doors for us? So that's kind of me excited.
Like doing disco beats on a song. Yeah, I mean that. I mean, if you listen back, you can hear I'm like doing these fucking disco things.
There's more disco beats in metal music than people care to admit or realize.
Yeah, they sound great, man.
No, they're awesome. Like the shit had to start somewhere. You had to get the rhythm from something.
That's right.
But yeah,
so
I get what you're saying.
Something new in 2027.
Okay,
you know,
cool.
Like, because I know Justin's going to be so busy in the Suicide Machines in July, August, September. Like, they're touring, like, I don't know, nationally, internationally. Like, he's going to be, I think, doing a European tour maybe around that time. So he's going to be completely, we're not going to hang out, you know, as TOV in like July, August, September. October, no one really does anything. It's Halloween. It's not a time for us to be doing stuff. So yeah, we're playing a record release show on April 10th in Detroit, and then we're playing in Chicago in May. So those are the first two shows that we have coming up. I could see us potentially booking something for June or something, but then the summer kind of disappears without Justin.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens after that. But I would be excited to start leaning into, you know, that new territory and going further down that new territory in 2027.
Where are you guys playing in Detroit?
The Sanctuary.
Okay.
Yep.
That's like right before Record Store Day, so I doubt I'll be able to make it down. But if I can, we definitely will, because that'd be awesome to be at the release show.
I like the Sanctuary too. It's nice and small.
That's where we recorded. So if you've seen the video for the crawl, we recorded that in the new Sanctuary, because they have a new building that they purchased, and that's where we were in that one. But the record release show will be at the original Sanctuary that you're thinking of in Hamtramck.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Or not the
cool.
original. It's like really the second version. The first one was in Detroit.
Right.
The one
But-
everybody knows.
Yeah, exactly. The one everybody knows. That's where it's going to be at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about in Chicago?
We're playing at Reggie's with Ossuary.
Oh yeah, I know.
we've
I've
been-
never been there, but I know that place
Yeah,
because
I've
I
heard that
see
name, too.
Go.
goddamn gallows play there like all the time.
Reggie's.
It's a great venue. We
Yeah,
love
that's a
playing.
great spot.
Yeah, a really good venue.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, before I get to the end question, do you guys have anything that you would like to add? Say, plug. I'll have all your social media stuff in the episode description, so go follow Temple of Void on Instagram. Check out the new album, stream it, buy it, whatever you got to do. Listen to it.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say we really appreciate, like, you know, you guys taking time to talk to us about our record and everything about it, and just being supportive. It really means a lot, honestly. It's kick ass to be doing this, you know, type of thing. So
appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We appreciate you guys. Like, we're happy we were able to make it happen. Like, we're big
Yeah.
fans of the band, and we love doing this.
I get to nerd out and talk about all those guitars and drums.
Yeah.
Man, it's our pleasure, dude, for real.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, Alex, you've been asked this question before a long time ago on here, and let me rephrase this. I do not ask this as a guilty pleasure question. I ask it as a curiosity thing of what people are listening to. So, outside of Temple of Void and what you guys are playing, what are things that you're listening to that people would not expect you to be listening to?
Sure. I mean, the first one that comes to my mind is Belinda Carlisle.
Awesome.
I've mentioned that a couple times, but
Heaven's a place on earth, dude.
yeah, like I love that record
For sure.
I think
I'm
it's
the
an
only
awesome-
one laughing.
Well,
I mean,
look, we do this in the back of my
Yeah.
record store, so we listen to everything, man. That's
Yeah.
why
Alright.
that's why I like this question, because I'm curious as like what other musicians and music lovers listen to, because I like to see
Yeah.
what other genres and stuff people are hearing, because it's you can't listen to the same thing over and over and over.
no. And so like heaven is a place on earth. Like when I listen to that record, I imagine myself, I kind of overlay myself covering it, like, because if that's the kind of music that Love Interest was doing, like not exactly, but I could have imagined Love Interest covering Heaven is a Place on Earth, but lyrically it's just too like sugary for where we were going, and our vocalist at the time, it wouldn't have been authentic to Jax to sing those kind of lyrics necessarily. But they're like some really big, like fat drum rolls in it, and the guitar, like I don't want to say it's heavy, but it's heavier than you think it would be. And I really love that record. But recently I've been listening to a lot of Big Pun, Capital Punishment.
Oh, dude.
That's
my man.
I think and then Big L, two rappers from New York that I've been listening to a lot. J. Cole, his new record, a coworker turned me on to his new record. And so it's a double LP where the first half is him rapping from his perspective as a 29-year-old, and the second half is him rapping from his perspective as a 39-year-old.
Yep. I listened to it a couple times myself too.
Yeah. And so like those are records that I'm really feeling recently. I'll pull out my iPhone and see like I've got the new Failure on here. It's not out yet, but the one song, the single, I'm really excited. The single sounds super good.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm excited for the new Immolation. That doesn't count. That's metal. You're asking for like non-metal stuff.
I'm really looking forward to the new Immolation too, though, because Acts of God, when that came out, that was like my favorite metal record that year. However, it was like 4 years ago now, but the single off that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I think they're a band that gets better with age.
I agree.
They keep on getting better and better.
Yeah.
The new Suede record from last year, blew me away.
That. Yeah.
And it was actually a TOV fan posting on the Facebook page. We were having a conversation about like, what are your favorite records? And this guy's like, the new Suede. And I was like, Suede? Like they're putting out records still? And I downloaded Antidepressants and I was like, oh my God, this record is phenomenal. I loved the early, records, but the new one is unbelievable. So that's some stuff that I've been digging. I'm just kind of scrolling through to see what other
those are all great answers. Big L's like one of my favorite rappers of all time.
Big Pun's like one of mine. So
I
that's
mean,
pretty
Big
funny.
Pun's up there too, yeah, but
Yeah.
I love Big L.
Yeah.
Neither one of them
and-
had enough music to like both their
Right.
careers got cut so
Yeah.
short, which is so unfortunate. But
So yeah, those are some non-metal stuff that I've been digging. Maybe like the last one I'd throw out there is Mama. Mama put out my favorite record of the year last year, and that's like a couple of girls. They're like in their early 20s doing a sort of like 90s inspired music. It's hard to say exactly what kind of Smashing Pumpkins-y,
yeah,
but not
we had
really.
I had one of their records in here a while ago that came in a collection. I remember seeing it.
Their new record blew me away. Like it's just so catchy. And I saw them live with my wife and my son. We really enjoyed them. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that people are like, oh, Mama, who's this indie pop,
Yeah,
Gen Z girls, but like, dude, it's guitar driven. It's really good songwriting. I really enjoyed that record.
awesome.
I'll have to
But I
check
guess
it
if
out.
I
Those are
listen to
all
Belinda
great
Carlisle,
answers, and that's
Mama's
why I
not.
love
Yeah,
asking this
man,
question.
it's like our favorite thing.
Jason, I can see you kind of looking around, like, all right, I'm
Yeah,
trying
what
to
about
figure
you?
out what to say now.
I'm really digging the Sleaford mods. That's my thing. I really, really love those guys a lot. What else? I kind of went down this Australian rabbit hole of bands, and I'm digging this band called Flight to Dubai and
I've heard
Stiff
that.
Richards.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
fucking phenomenal. And a band called Coffin.
Stiff Richards is a great name for a
Yeah,
band.
that's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Oh, dude, check those guys out. They're
Stiff
so
Richards.
good, man.
That I don't
Their
know.
record State of Mind is
Where
really,
my
really
pen
good. Oh, what was the other one I was totally digging? The King Crimson Red expanded edition is pretty great if you're a King Crimson
I
guy.
do, yeah. I like King
Yeah.
Crimson, and I think Red's one of their better records. Everybody
Yeah.
wants the 21st Century record, and I'm like, dude, you guys should listen to like Three of a Perfect Pair or Red or like some of the later albums that they had more music than just that.
Yeah, but check out that those Flight to Dubai and that Stiff Richards, man. It's really cool. Oh, and local band here in Detroit, Winds of Neptune.
I don't know that one either.
I don't think so. I don't know that.
Check them out, man. They're good friends of ours. Great band, good stoner. Like, I don't want to clump that.
No, it's stoner.
No, I don't want to. I didn't mean to say like clump that into it. They're just,
Yeah.
they're long songs. They're guitar driven, drum driven. I mean, they're just musically a driven band, and really, really check those guys out, man.
They remind me of like Captain Beyond or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this just came out
Proto-
November 21st of last year, so it's pretty new.
Yeah, it's really new. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they're kind of like pro metal, I would say, but they sound so authentic to, the early 70s sound. Like the vocals, everything about it, you would swear you had unearthed some
Like you're on
long
FM
lost
radio.
gem.
Yeah.
For sure.
And then Make America Hate Again by Slapshot's probably one of my favorite records.
Oh, that's a great record.
That record fucking rules, man.
Yes, sir. We love Slapshot too. In fact, I was kind of hoping that they were going to be one of the surprise bands at Tied Down, but
Yeah. But you got Blood for Blood.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
for
that
sure.
was
But
already
I'm
a
not
surprise.
disappointed. I'd like to see
Yeah.
Slapshot before Choke's done.
I totally agree. I would love to see it, man.
We'll be set up at Tied Down, so if either of you guys
Oh,
are there,
okay.
we're gonna do some live and on-set interviews, just quick question things with people. So if you're there, stop by and say what's up.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Hey, what's the name of your record store?
Noise and Toys,
Awesome. Cool,
Yes.
man.
located in Alpena, Michigan. It's about 4 hours away from you guys, but
Okay.
if you're ever looking for stuff, not that you guys have a shortage of stores down there, but I ship everywhere. So
But it's nice to support, though.
yeah,
I
we'll
appreciate it.
we'll have for local people listening that are into Temple of Void, took the time to listen to this interview. We'll have the record available in store for you to pick up here. I'll have CDs, I'll have vinyl copies. Like, pick them up, support the band. Again, we really appreciate you guys taking the time to do this. It's been awesome getting to talk to you. And Alex, having you back on and actually getting to see each other face to face now is very cool. So we appreciate you guys, and thanks again for the advanced copy of the album and for your time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, fellas.
Yeah, you guys have
I
a
just
great
noticed
afternoon.
that Sabretooth Gary follows your store.
Cool.
Kick ass.
That might be from when we did the Black Christmas
could
thing.
be.
Kick ass.
But yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome,
but I'll
fellas.
be in touch with you guys.
Awesome. Thanks,
All right.
boys.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You guys have a good weekend, and thanks
Okay,
again.
Congratulations on the album.
cool.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
fellas.
it.
Have a good
You
weekend.
too.